Okay, so first of all, some commands in Docker you already saw. Docker info, which gives you information about Docker. Docker version, similar, it tells you about Docker. And there's another one called Docker help, which is where we will start with. So if you say Docker help, it gives you a lot of stuff here if you really look at it, and there are two sections to it. One is management command and the other one is command. Okay, they have segregated it. So technically what you can do is I can say Docker image build. So image is the management command, build is the command that I'm running, or Docker container stop, or so some of the commands what you see down are applicable to the management command. I don't see a reason for doing this, but earlier what they were doing is they were having complicated commands for each and everything. So the list of commands would go longer and longer. So then they segregated it into management command and commands. So let's look at management command. They have builders, config, container, context, image. We will definitely look at image, container, a lot of others also. We'll look at network, we'll look at volume, so on and so forth, right? So let's start very, very small. Before we go any further, let's, as usual, talk about a story. Did we already talk about Docker story? I believe we did not, right? So today, when you wanted to install something on your laptop, what did you do? You downloaded the software and you installed that software on your machine, correct? And let's make it collaborative if you can. You know, just don't mute yourself, unmute yourself, whoever can. And if you do not have anything in the background, just unmute yourself and let's make it a little collaborative, because then it will be beneficial for everybody, whoever is listening to, right, in the future. So my question is, today when you want to install something onto your laptop, what do you do? Can somebody please unmute and collaborate with me?
Install Docker?
No, not Docker. Just in anything, any software you want to install on your machine, on your laptop, what do you do?
Usually we download from the browser and then we install on a laptop.
Okay, good. Now there's this concept called virtualization. I mean, people who work in an organization, they would know that there's a lot of work that happens with VMware. If you've not heard about it, not a problem. But if you've heard about it, with VMware, what usually happens is there are a lot of servers. Okay, let's say in our case only 3 servers, and there's a virtualization or a hypervisor basically that sits on top of this server and is responsible for letting you create smaller machines. So what I mean by smaller machines is, and again, I'm trying to oversimplify this, denying some of the technical details at it, because when you're learning, you really don't have to worry about it. So now let's say, for example, I have a storage, I have CPU, and I have memory. That's what is required, right, for us to call it a system. So when you create this smaller machine, if this guy and all of them, let's say they had 1 TB of data storage, and let's say it has 8 CPUs, and it has 16 GB of RAM, or let's say 32 GB of RAM. Okay, what this software, the virtualization software, the VMware software, allows us to do is it allows us to create smaller machines. So what I could do is let's say I'm just creating 2 machines from what is available under the hood. So under the hood, when you keep adding nodes with whatever the capacity is, the storage is the total capacity of what is available for you. Okay, so I can create a machine with 500 GB, 2 CPUs, and let's say 4 GB of RAM. Okay, the next one I can do the same thing. I can keep creating as many as I want based on how much of resources do I really have under the hood. Okay, so what I mean is this one will have its own operating system, will have its own CPU, will have its own memory, will have its own storage, smaller machines. The same thing, you can do it in your local too, with a similar technique. You can install on your local called VirtualBox, Oracle VirtualBox. You guys have already probably done it. And I didn't want to start with that because that pretty much becomes like a POC, which doesn't really help you in real world. That's why we are doing everything in the cloud. Okay. So you can create VirtualBox and you can create smaller VMs. So you can create a Red Hat CentOS image. You can create a Red Hat Ubuntu image, so on and so forth. You can create Mandrake. You can create SUSE. And then each one of them becomes your operating system. So you can actually go in, play around with it, destroy it, and then recreate a new one. If you want to create a clone out of it, you can create a clone and then destroy it. And then the next time, create a new instance using the clone. I'm not of it, none of this, because this is not what we're talking now, right? When we come to Docker, we are not talking about any one of this. We are not talking about multiple machines. What we are talking about is we have a host, okay? We are installing a hypervisor in that host. So let's say this part is the host. We are having our Docker engine. And now this Docker engine will allow us to create smaller containers, which is similar to VM, but not VM. The reason being, you don't have to explicitly define how much of resources it's going to take. It takes everything, or basically it shares the resources that are available on the host. If this is the host, the down part is the host. Host is your machine, right? I mean, my laptop is my machine. If we go back to the EC2 instance, let me close this, guys. The EC2 instance, this EC2 instance is the host for me. Okay, that's the host. Inside the host, what we've done is we've installed the Docker engine. We have installed Docker engine, okay, or Docker C Community Edition. Just to give us a synonym, right? As I told you last time, you have multiple CDs available with you. And now if you want to play the music, what you need to do is you have to insert the CD inside a CD player. And when you insert the CD inside the CD player, it's going to play the music which is there on this CD, not play the music what's in the CD, right? Why am I telling you about this? The reason I'm telling you about this is this part, the CD player, is a Docker engine. This Docker engine is similar. I mean, if you have to call it in terms of Java, it is similar to the Java virtual machine. On Java virtual machine, you'll write your Java files and convert it to .class files, and then those .class files will run onto a JVM. .class files would not run just by itself in the air. You need to have a JVM. Similarly, when you have Docker images, those images will only run within a Docker engine. I'm going to stop here for a second and I'll let you ask questions. Please ask me a question because this is fundamental of where we're going to start with Docker. We are going to talk about images and containers and all that, but the fundamental of what a Docker engine and Docker image is. Any questions? Please, I would really suggest somebody who doesn't have a background noise, keep unmuted because we will save some time if you're able to respond very quickly. Jyoti, can you volunteer to be the person who collaborates with me?
Okay, Samir, but my daughter is working here, so.
Okay. The question is, did you understand the concept, the core fundamental of Docker engine and Docker images from a concept of CDs and a CD player?
Yes, Samir.
Okay. So let's move to the next one. There are a couple of other fundamental stuff that we need to talk about before we look into a running container. Is if I take this guy down over here and instead of the CD player, I call it as the Docker engine. Okay. There is this concept called Docker Hub. Docker Hub is a similar concept as a remote repository that we talked about earlier. If I create an image, I can only run locally. But if I create an image and put it up onto Docker Hub, I can give you the name of the image, and then you will be able to pull that image from there and run it inside your Docker engine. So basically, it's a place where we store Docker images given to us. So what I would suggest quickly for you guys, if you do not have a Docker Hub account, go to hub.docker.com very quickly and sign up. Okay. Enter whatever ID you want, see whether it's available, enter the email address, enter the password, and then sign up. I already have it, so let me see if I remember the password. I don't remember, maybe.
Your voice has been breaking, Samir. I don't know if it's just me or everyone else couldn't hear you properly.
I'm very, very close to my Wi-Fi as possible. So is
I
it
can hear properly.
I can hear properly.
Romana, you're probably away from your Wi-Fi. Come closer to the Wi-Fi.
Okay. Just me, I guess.
Yeah. All right. So sign up for Docker at hub.docker.com and then get in.
Samir, what is the Docker ID did you mention?
Docker what?
Docker ID. When you have to sign up, there is a Docker ID section, right? Email and password, right?
We need to create our own ID.
That's your ID. You can call it as Romana if Romana is available. My ID is Samir Sheikh. You can give whatever you want if it's available. It's a universally unique ID. Let me know once everybody is in there.
Yes, Samira, I have already signed it up.
Good.
Give us few minutes, Samir. Just 2 minutes. I'm signing up now.
Sojana, are you also signing up or you already signed up?
I already signed up, Samir, but I forgot the password, I guess. So
Okay, can you try to reset it?
yeah, I'm trying.
Okay. What about Mansa?
Yeah, Samir, I already did that.
Okay, awesome. Whoever already did it, let's try this. Do a Docker login over here on the Docker engine and use your ID and your password. And tell me whether the login is successful. That work for you, Mansa and Jyoti?
Not authenticating me, even though I'm entering the right password.
Who's that? Romana?
Yeah, sign up issue.
You just created, right? A user ID and password. Did you sign up or not?
I did, but then it is asking me something is going wrong. Samir, I'll figure out. I'm not there in yet.
Yeah. What about Jyoti and Mansa? You were supposed to do step number 2 that I just showed you.
No, Samir, still I'm not doing.
What's the URL again? Docker Hub. What was that, Samir? Docker Hub.
It's there in WhatsApp, Romana. hub.docker.com. Mansa and Jyoti, did you understand what I've asked you to do, or you didn't follow?
Yes, Samir. Yes, Samir. After executing Docker git pull command, my machine got stuck. So I have logged in through Putty.
Okay.
That's why it took time for me.
Okay. Mansa, what about you?
No, Samir, I forgot my password, so I'm resetting.
What's going on?
Okay, I'm waiting on you guys, so please let me know.
Can we do it later, Samir? You can continue.
You'll not be able to practice along with me, so I'm not sure. What's the problem? I would like to help if there's a problem.
Mine is very weird. I mean, I am even before signing up, it's taking the account detail and it's not letting me sign in.
Please share your screen, Amanda.
Okay. Oh.
Are you sharing?
No, you have to enable.
Okay, hold on. Just a second. It is open for everybody, Romana. Just try to share.
So, something silly, Samir. 1 second.
It's not letting you share. What is happening? Okay. I don't know whether you've created, it cannot be at gmail.com. I don't think so. Your ID would be at gmail.com. That's your email address. Your ID would be something simple.
Yeah, here I had an option to either enter email ID or the ID.
Okay.
So, okay, let me just switch to.
Okay, enter your password. And then before you enter, hold on.
Now it like, so why would it give me an option to enter both username and or email ID? So that I was trying email ID.
Yeah, I don't know, but your ID is supposed to be your ID, whatever you entered.
Okay.
You can stop sharing. What about others? What problem do you guys have?
Samir, login success for me.
Okay. Mansa and
Yeah,
Sajani.
for me also the same problem as Romana. I'm also giving the email, it's not taking.
No, don't enter email. Enter your
Yeah.
ID and password.
Yeah, I will do it.
So what next, Amir? I have to.
Hold on. Am I sharing my screen? No.
No.
Just hold on. Okay. Just give me 1 second. Oh, PowerShell. I don't know PowerShell. Do a Docker login on your Docker engine in EC2 instance if you already have it.
I think I messed it up, Samir. I think I destroyed that EC2 instance after installing Docker.
Yeah, what you need to do is look at my screen here, so Romana, and you have that GitHub repo 0312222022. Just do a git pull there and then do a Terraform apply. I've already put in enough details over there to create the EC2 instance and install Docker. Okay, so it will take you about 5-10 minutes, and after 10 minutes you should be ready. So what about Saujanya? Saujanya?
Samir, I'm creating EC2 instance again. Samir, is it okay if I work later? Just listen now and work later?
Yeah, that should be fine. Yeah, that should be fine.
Yeah, because
I mean,
together
the only problem is
I'm getting confused to open the screen and close it. So I'll do it later. I'll just listen now. I'll do it later.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
So what we did is we did a Docker login on, so I can do a Docker logout if I have to. So I just logged out, and once you log in, as many times as you log in, your home directory, see, this is where I'll be talking a little more every single time, right? I mean, I told you initially I took you through git bash or shell commands, and then I took you through Maven. Whenever I feel a need to connect the dots, that's the time I'll be probably executing some command. If you do not understand a command, please ask me. The way to go to your home is to use this tilde sign, cd tilde sign. And then if I do a pwd, which is present working directory, it tells me I'm in the EC2 user. That's my home directory. The Docker configuration when we log in is usually stored in .docker. So if I do ls-lrta, show me the hidden files, you'll see there's a folder called .docker. So if I go inside .docker, there's a file called config.json. So if I do a cat of config.json, you'll see there's nothing in there right now, okay? And what I will do now is I'll do a Docker login, and I'll enter my ID, and I'll enter my password. And now login is succeeded over here if you look at it, okay? Now if I do a cat of config.json, you'll see that this information shows up over here. And this one is not definitely the user ID and password that I entered, okay? If you have to look at the user ID and password, what I've entered over here, you could potentially do multiple things, basically. You can go to your browser and do a base64 decode, search for base64 decode. By doing this, I'll have to go and change my password now because it'll show my password. So if you see here, it shows the user ID : password. So what does this imply to you? You don't even have to do a Docker login. Technically, you can enter this file, config.json, add this details, the skeleton, and then in the auth, create a base64 of your user : password. So how do you create a base64 is you can go here and do a base64 encode. Okay, and then enter your user ID password and then encode it, and then it will give you this string. So if you see, that's the string. See that? XIC2. XIC2. Oh, all right. I mean, you definitely don't need to know all of these details right now, but it's always a good thing to know where does it store the configuration, because there'll be multiple times we might be coming over here, because this is not the end of it. There are more details to it that we'll be going through eventually. Okay. Let's move forward. Now I have logged in to.
Can we encode and decode any passwords by using this? Samir?
If it's base64 encoding and base64 decoding, yes, you can. And you don't even need to go to a website to do that. Usually your shell, right, git bash, allows you to do that. And that's exactly what I tried to do over here. I did an echo of my base64 encoded text, piped it, and I said base64 -d. -d is for decode. I can do the same thing to encode it. I can pick this up from here. I can do an echo of this base64. So it gives me the encoded string. I mean, it definitely gave me a different string than, I don't know why it gave me a different string, but let's see. Let's do a decode and see if it's giving me anything else. Echo. No. Yeah, it's the same. So don't worry about it's showing you a completely different thing. It's technically the same. The equals or the I is not really making a difference. ZXI instead of equals, it is a K over here. That should be fine. So base 64 is not encryption, okay? It is just encoding. Technically, anybody who gets it can actually encode and decode it if they need to. All right, let's move back here. So I'm back into my EC2 shell. What we are going to do is we are first going to do a very simple one. I will go to hub.docker.com and let's see if they have something called as hello world. If they have it, we'll pick it up. Yeah, there's a hello world official image, right? You can click here. It will tell you how to pull that image. And there'll be a couple of concepts that you will not understand. It's fine. We will first connect all the dots and then we'll talk about the concepts, okay? So what I can do is I can click on this little thing over here and I can say, just paste it. It's already Docker pull. Before I run this, I will say Docker image list. I do not have any images over here. Docker container list. I don't have any containers, okay? No images, no containers. I'm going to run that Docker pull command now, which is a simple Java program. And now if I do a Docker image ls, it does show me the hello world image over here. You see that? Okay. Since we have the image with us, let's see what all help does the image really provide. Okay. So I will run Docker image help. What does it allow us to do? What are the commands that are applicable for image? There's a build, history, import, inspect, load, ls, prune, pull. So pull, we've already seen it. Docker pull. So instead of pull, you could have even done Docker image pull. It's the same command, right? And then there's a build, history, import, inspect, load, push, rm is to remove. So after we did a pull, let's try rm. Docker image rm, and I need the image ID. So if I had to done the image ls, here's the image ID that I can take. Or I should even be able to do hello world. Whichever I want, I can use it. So basically it has deleted that image. I'm going to clear the screen and do a Docker image ls again. That image is not there. So I will go ahead and pull the image again. And then do a Docker image ls. The image is over here. You're following me so far?
Yes.
Okay. Now let's clear it and then do a Docker image help again. We saw two of these commands from here. We saw pull, we saw rm. There's a save. Save one or more images to a tar archive streamed to std out by default. Okay. We technically don't have to look at it right now. Because it's going to be a little more advanced for you to worry about. First, we'll figure out how the image is created, and then we will look at if we have to give this image to somebody without storing it on a remote repository. We want to save it on a disk and give it to it. How do we give it? That's what we're going to look at. Save and load command and save command are similar. Save is to save. You know what? Let's see if we can do something about it. Again, don't worry about this command for now. Okay. So if you say save help, if it's going to save a terminal use minus, okay, let's do, what was that? Hello world. Cowardly refusing to save to a terminal use minus O flag or redirect. Minus O hello world dot tar. And then if I do ls minus lrt, I have this hello world dot tar. Okay, then I will do a Docker image ls. I'm going to remove this image. What is the command to remove? Docker image rm. Last time we did hello world. This time we'll use this image ID. Okay, now if I do a Docker image ls, it is not there. Now let's try to do load. The save command, you've seen it. Again, I will say this is not something that you really need to worry about. You might not even use it in the whole of your career unless somebody tells you save it locally and then give it to me. You just need to know there's something like that. But now if you do a Docker image load and hello world.tar, there's one thing that we have to give: image load accepts no argument. Okay. How do I give you the tar file name then? Let's see. Let's run this and then it will give us the error. Let's see. I never had to do it. This shows you that I never had to do a load ever. Docker image load example. There has to be something to tell where the file is located. Yeah, -i. That is it. Docker image load -i hello world. And now if I do a Docker image ls, it should show up. You see, it is showing up here. So I didn't do a Docker pull, but I saved it locally. I could take that local file, hello.tar, give it to you on a pen drive. You can copy it into your machine, and then you can take that image and load it in. Okay. Do you want me to save these commands that we are running in a file so that you follow it next time, or will you just follow the video?
We will follow the video, Samir.
Yeah, so I will
It
follow
takes
the
more
video.
time.
Sure. Sure.
A small request, could you please increase the font size? Git bash font size.
Let's see. Where is the?
Yeah. Hold.
Huh? What happened? I thought I changed it.
Click on apply. Apply. Save.
Better now? Okay. Image ls. I'm going to remove that image again. Docker image rm. World. I'm going to remove. So what's the command to remove this file? Romana, can you tell me?
That's Docker image. What
No,
was
no,
that?
remove the file. Remove this file. Hello world.tar.
Oh, Linux command you're saying?
Whatever command, I don't know. I just want to delete this file.
rm hello world.tar.
Okay, good. Okay, so that file is gone. It's not there anymore. My login is still there intact, so that is good. Unless and until I do a logout, it will still be logged in here. Let's go and look at some more command for image. So build we have not seen. We will see it today. Show the history of an image. We can look at that. Import the content from a tarball to create a file system image. You can either do import or load. Inspect is what we will see now. Load we've seen. Ls list we have already seen, right? So I'll just make a note over here, just so that you know. I will copy this up and paste it. We have not seen build. I'll put a minus where we've not seen it. History, we've not seen it. Import, we've not seen it. Inspect, we've not seen it. Load, we have seen. Ls, we have seen. Prune, we have not seen. Pull, we have seen. Push, we have not seen. RM, we have seen. Save, we have seen. Okay. So let's complete up with the list a little bit, which we really need. What's that?
Tag also.
Tag we have not seen, right?
Yes.
Let's go ahead and pull the image again. Docker image ls. Let's pull that image. Oh, by the way, if there are commands like this, what you can do is you can do history. And what we need is we need the pull command. Where is it going down? Okay, I know the command, so I will not worry about scrolling. Docker image pull or Docker pull hello world. This image is pulled down.
LS.
It's pulled down. I want to see, I want to inspect this image basically. So to inspect the image, you can pick up the image ID repository again, the name, and I could do a Docker image inspect. I usually don't like to use repository name because by default, it always takes later. So if you have multiple tagged version of the same name, you might think that I'm using the repository name, so I'm going to the right one. You're not, you're always going to the latest one. So it's always a good idea to go by the image ID or the container ID, not by the name. So if you see here, this is all about the image. And because we've increased the font size, I'm not able to go down, which is fine for you right now. But when you look at it, please take a look at it, which will show you everything. So basically, this is a nice place for you to spend some time, understand some of this. For example, the ID, the repo tags, what are the tags that you've added over here? What are labels, basically? I don't even see labels over here. Probably down. Or maybe it doesn't even have a label. Oh yeah, label is null. So what we will do is we can do a lot more basically, but we will jump on to a more advanced concept and then we'll come to fundamentals if needed. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a simple folder in the TMP directory on my EC2 instance, which I'm okay to get deleted basically, and make dir minus DevOps. Inside the DevOps, what I'll do is I will create a Docker file, and the command is nano Docker file. So what I want to do is I want to give the same command, basically hello world, and I can use whatever tag I want. I'll use the latest tag. I'll not add anything else over here. Okay. One more thing, what you can do is you can always go over here and search for Docker file. It should tell you Docker file reference. This is where usually everybody goes to. Very nice place. What I want to search for is how to add a label. So it allows you to do it this way. It allows you to do key value pair. However you want, you can do it. Okay. So we'll probably follow this format, key value. So we'll do label, which is always capital. Name equals to DevOps, let's say. I'll just add that. And it needs to be there in double quotes, the value. I will just close this and cat Docker file. It looks good, right? I'm just taking the original image and just adding a new label to that image. Okay, that's what I'm doing. Now, since I have the Docker file over here, we are going to look at the next command, which is Docker build command. We want to build a new image. So build an image from a Docker file, right? So Docker build takes a couple of arguments. -help will give us anything. Yeah. So we are going to use a couple of them. You know what? Are you really having problem with the font size? Are you really not able to see the smaller font? Because this is going to get us into trouble that you'll not be able to see what's down there. Let's see if I can do 11. Is this okay?
Yes, Samir.
Okay. So help, there should be a -t also, which is tag. Okay. So Docker build -t. I'm going to call it as my hello world. You can call it whatever you want. Colon, I'll give it a version 1.0.0. Okay. And then I want where is my Docker file located? At the same place where I am, right? So I will just say load the context from wherever I am. It basically created a new image. If you go and do Docker image ls, you would see that there's a my hello world 1.0 now. And again, I can do the same command what we used earlier, docker image inspect. We've seen this command too. And then give this one, my hello world. The only change that I will see is that label, okay? There should be a label this time. See that? Label, name DevOps. Everything else, if you compare, will be exactly the same to the hello world. But I was able to take a Muhammad Rafi's CD, and if it was a writable CD, I was able to add my voice onto that CD along with Muhammad Rafi. That's the synonym you can think about right now. So there's an existing image. I'm taking that image as my from image. As my from image. So if you see from, and technically from also can be in capital letters. Okay, it's a convention to have the commands as capital. So I'm going to make that change. Okay, cat docker. Right, so I'm taking the original image and I'm adding a label to it. Label is nothing but a label. It doesn't do anything. It just gives some kind of a notation. Okay, I will stop here and ask you a question. A file as simple as that, as this, are you understanding it?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Any real time? Go ahead, Saujanya.
No, I said I understood.
Okay. So any real time use case where you had to download an image and customize it?
Everywhere. Everywhere. When you create a Docker image and you want to put a code inside the Docker image, you're not going to download a Docker image and just display it as a hello world, right? You want to run your code inside the Docker image. How are you going to put the code inside the Docker image? It is by bringing in the base image. We call it as base image, and then decorating it with your code. We've not even looked at. That's why I said we're just looking at label. We've not looked at how to copy code inside a Docker image yet. So every single use case, we will have to do what you're asking for.
Or we can write our own Docker file from scratch, right? We don't need to pull it from registry or somewhere else from tar file and have to build on top of it. That's not.
Nobody does it from scratch. Yes, there's an option to create a Docker file from scratch. But in my experience, nobody does it from scratch. They will start from a base Alpine image, which is a very, very small Linux image. Nobody will start from scratch and install Linux on it.
So that Docker Hub place that you showed from where you pull the hello world, that's the trusted site, is it? From where anyone can safely pull any image and build on top of it?
Need not be. Need not be. The reason need not be is there's a concept called scanning your Docker image for vulnerability. So if you see this Docker scan and hello world, it's another Docker image scan. Sorry. Why? There is a Docker scan command. Give me a second. The command might be different, but there is a scan command. Should be this. No, best thing is this Docker help. Let's see if there's anything that makes sense. I'm pretty sure there's a scan command. Anybody remembers the scan command?
Docker image help?
Not help. Well, image help you can run and check. Yeah. There is a command to scan. It's a free Docker scan. You see that? Docker scan. I'm pretty sure I've used this. I don't know why it's not working. Wow.
Samir, what is SNYK account?
Snake is basically a provider which allows you to scan, but in my experience, I never had to install Snake separately. How to scan Docker image locally? I know there are better tools to scan it. We never used to use this tool, but I wanted to quickly show you. Scan using CLI after you built an image and before you push the image, run the Docker scan command. You see that? There is a Docker scan command. I don't know if.
There's a
Yes,
command
do we
that I'm
need to
seeing.
install Docker scan plugin?
Sorry, what was that?
Do we need to install Docker scan plugin?
Do you have a documentation which says how to install it?
Let me-
Samir, I'm seeing a command which says docker scan -- file and then Docker file.
Yeah,
Yeah.
here.
Yeah,
But it is
I
telling me
did.
Docker scan command itself does not exist.
Scan is not a Docker command.
Yeah, just now I shared in chat. Samir,
In where?
in chat.
Same one, right? What I'm looking at. Looking to speed up, okay, how to scan images. apt-get update, apt-get install Docker scan plugin. Interesting. Let's try it. But we are not using apt, so we'll have to use this. I don't know if they've changed this recently because I've used it on older version to scan directly. It's weird. Anyway,
That's for CentOS, right? Command is for CentOS.
we are using AMI, AWS AMI, which is CentOS under the hood.
Okay.
See, no package called Docker scan plugin available. Anyway, let's not spend too much of time on this. What you should know is usually nobody does a scan locally. There are JFrog Artifactory has a component called X-ray. It is scanned over there, and the image basically you can go and look at it and tell whether the image is healthy or not healthy. So the short answer to your question is nobody trust Docker Hub openly because anybody can push images over there. Anytime I look for, let's say if I'm looking for JBoss image, I will usually look for an official image. So I'm going to say official image, and there's no JBoss official image over here. Nobody has put anything. So I will really not trust anybody. There's a verified publisher that also it's not there. Let's look for Tomcat. So there's an official image by Tomcat. So I will more likely trust this image than somebody, like for example, I can take this image, I can download it and then I'll push it. Okay, I'm going to show you the push command. Right now, if you go to Samir Sheikh over here and look for repositories, this is what I have pushed in mine. Okay, this is mine. If somebody downloads this, like if you see here, people have already downloaded it. So they are crazy people because this is my personal. They shouldn't be downloading this and using this. Okay, so the answer to you is no, you cannot trust. You just have to be super technical over here. You should scan your images before taking it to production. And every organization does that. It's not something new.
Okay.
All right, where were we? You were looking at Docker build command. So build command, we've already seen. Let's look at the history. This is another command which I never used. But let's see, Docker image history and hello world, this one. So it is showing me it was created 5 months ago and something, I don't even know how to read this history, but I believe it will tell you what all happened with that image during the tenure of you downloaded that image. Okay. Again, not so useful command. I haven't used this command anytime ever before I started looking at this right now today. Okay. So history, not so important command, but we've looked at it. Import, we are not going to look at it because we already looked at load, should be a similar command, import the contents from a tarball to create a file system image. we're not going to look at it. Prune is remove unused images. So what images do we have over here? We have two images, right? My hello world and hello world. None of them we have created a container from. So I can do a Docker image prune. And are you sure you want to continue? Yes. And then didn't even remove anything because it's imagining that somebody is using it, and the fact is we are not using it. Let's run the same command, all force. Now it went ahead and deleted all the images forcefully. Okay. I do not know. I don't have a strong answer. Maybe it's a research item for you. When we did a Docker image prune, even though that image was not being used to create a container, why is it not being deleted? To me, in my mind, it should get deleted because it is not used. Okay, but it didn't delete. I am okay if latest is not being deleted because latest is assuming that my hello world is using that latest image, so it is not deleting it, but it should have at least deleted my hello world. Okay, I don't have an answer for it right now, and not very important for me to worry about. If I have to just clean up everything, I will do prune all force. Everything gets cleaned up. Now, if I do a Docker image list, there's nothing in there. Okay, I'm going to again build the command with the Docker build -it command. And the image should get created. So the image is there. And this is a very good thing to know. So my hello world depends on hello world. That's the reason why it first downloaded hello world, and my hello world is just depending on it. That's why you see both the images over here. All right. Let's move forward very, very quickly.
Prune
Yeah.
is not removing it forcefully, not a
Sorry, what was
final.
it?
Prune is not a final delete.
Prune
Prune
is the
is not-
final. It is. Prune is basically clean up. It is a delete.
Then how you were able to get it back, right? Using build command.
Yeah, I was able to get it because it's a new command. It went ahead and pulled it again.
What is that? My hello world. Okay, from the Docker file. Got it. Yeah.
Yeah, in the Docker file, we have provided from hello world. Hello world in our local was already deleted. That's why it downloaded that layer and then updated it with whatever we said with the label. So if you see the first command is download newer image.
Mhm.
Any doubts there, Humana?
No, I'm clear.
Pull we have already seen. Let's push this. Now, if I have to push this to my repository, so right now you've seen I only have to, the only way that I can push it is I have to tag it with the right name. Okay, so there's a Docker tag command which we haven't seen. We'll first look at that command. Docker image tag, enter it. It says source image and then the destination image. Okay, so I'll do Docker image ls. My source image is my hello world 100. So I'll do Docker image. Hold on. I'll do Docker image tag source and target. So source is my hello world 1.0.0. Target is I have to put Samir Sheikh because that is my user ID / my hello world : 1.0.0. And now I want to push it. Docker image push. I can definitely do Docker push. Okay, images. I'm just adding it so that we don't have any confusion. If I was not logged in, it would not. Okay, I will show you that also. Comment this. Docker log out. Okay, and now I will call that command to push. Let's see what happens. It says denied, requested access to the resources denied because I'm not logged in. So let me try to do a Docker login. And then let's try to do a Docker push if that works. Yeah, so it got pushed. If I go here and refresh, notice there are only two. I should see the third one now.
What if we try to push the same hello world? Will it accept it? Will it override?
Under your name, it will, Romana, because your
Right.
name is your namespace. So
Got
you can put whatever you want.
Got it. Mhm.
So now if you want to pull, I can pull this, whatever is the tag name, it's 100 tag, right? I have not pushed the latest. That's why it's not showing the latest. So if I want to not have this tag name over here, what I can do is I can tag it again and tag it as latest this time. And then when I'm pushing it, push it as latest. I'm hoping that it will not show tag name, it will show latest. Hoping, I don't know. No, it doesn't show. So basically, I was hoping it will show the latest. So now I have two tags over here. So when I pull this, pull with this command. So now what I will do first is I will go ahead and prune everything. Docker image prune -all -force. So I've pruned everything. There should not be any images. And then I will do a Docker pull, whatever that command is there. And I will call it as 1.0.0.
I mean, it should be pull, right? By the same push.
Oh, pull, not push.
That was my question actually. Why in the repository over there, why it's not showing as pull?
Yeah, I don't know why it should show me pull actually. That's what I was thinking.
Okay.
It's a bug actually to me. Because if I go to any of the others, right? Not this one, not
For
this
the
one.
hello world, for the hello world, we saw
Hello
pull,
world.
right?
Yeah. If I go to hello world, it should show me pull. I don't know for mine, why is it showing as push? To push a new tag to this repository, but where's the pull? Maybe I have to click on the tag and no. See, if I upgrade to Pro, it will also scan the images and show me if there's a vulnerability. But this is strange. I mean, it should show me a pull command. But anyway, the pull command is not so difficult. So I would rather say, take this and say Docker image pull. It's weird. It's really weird. Why should it show me push command? I'm the one who has pushed it. So why do you want to show me the push command? See, now it is showing pull over here. Oh, you know what? When you look at it, it will show you as pull. So try to search for my hello world in Docker Hub. It might show you Samir Sheikh, my hello world, and it will show you pull command. But still, this does not help me. Why should they show me a push command?
Even in my Docker Hub also, it is showing Docker push like this.
Yeah. But can you search for my hello world to search for my image? Are you able to get my image?
Samir Sheikh / hello world, right?
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't find. Basically updated. Let me do it that way.
What happened?
I'm not seeing it, Samir. I even filtered out, did a filter on recently updated.
Hub.docker.com. I'm going to hub.docker.com. Okay, yes. I will log out from here. And I will search for my-hello-world. And there are several people who have done it. So let's add Samir Sheikh. No result. Okay, weird. It's good in a way that they are not showing my image to the whole world. Unless I'm pushing, I have not created my images as public, but the question would be, how are people able to download my other, unless I was the guy who was downloading it? Yeah, there might be a configuration that I've used to have only private repository, but that's not possible as far as I remember. it was not allowing me to do private repository. So whatever I have should technically be public repository. So just to test that, right, I will do one thing. I want you to run this command in your local and tell me if you're able to pull it without it asking you for credential. If it asks you for credential, that means I've protected it. In the chat here, I'm sending it, okay? Can one of you try?
Yes, it's in. I could pull it.
You're able to pull it, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, that means there's something wrong with their, maybe they're updating the Docker Hub today, being a Saturday. They're in between the,
Then it shouldn't show for Hello World also, right? It should pull for
Yes,
Hello
sir.
World.
sorry, what was that?
No, if it is a downtime thing, it shouldn't have shown for Hello World. It was
No, it's-
properly
it's-
showing.
Usually all these modern applications, right? They don't go down. They disable certain features. So I don't know the feature is after we push the image, how long it takes for that image to be available publicly.
Right. Yeah, it could be
Right.
that. Yeah.
So it might be a feature they're updating, or it's probably that's just the feature. I'm not sure. But I think we should not get into that because that is not the foundation of it, right? I mean, what you know is you're able to push image and somebody else is able to pull that image. That's the foundation, right? We are not trying to fix issues for their tool. Let it be where they are.
Right.
All right.
It's like a Git for Docker images, right? Can we
Sorry?
consider this? Can we consider Docker Hub as a GitHub for Docker images?
You can think of it as it's a remote repository. It's a chart repository. That's it. GitHub is for storing source. So GitHub will be very similar to Bitbucket and GitLab if I have to really compare it. And Docker will be very, very similar to JFrog and Nexus.
Got it.
Okay, any question?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes,
one
in this Docker file, I have one question, Samir. Usually, the from instruction has the argument. Usually, in real time, how do they get this argument?
Sorry, I'm not understanding the question. Can you please repeat?
In the Docker file, from instruction has an argument here, hello world : latest.
Mhm.
In real time, how do they get this argument?
It's not an argument, right? It's a hard-coded word.
Um,
So
okay.
if I'm going to have my code that runs on Tomcat 8, I will go to Docker Hub and search for Tomcat, let's say 8. I get this image over here, Tomcat. I'll go in here. I will see what tags do they have. So this 9.0 is what they have. If I need a 8.0, will there be a 8.0 or not? You can go through. So usually what happens, so there's a JRE8. You want a JRE8, you want JRE11 running inside your Tomcat, or you want JRE17. So what people do is people usually search. I mean, in FIS, we don't use anything from Docker Hub. The only place that we trust is Red Hat. All of our images are certified Red Hat images. And on top of that, we have a scanning setup to identify if there are any bugs in the Red Hat images. So I go in here. This is where we usually download from. So there's a Tomcat 8 image, Tomcat 7 image, JDK 8. So this is how we get it. This is where we start. And to get the image, you'll have the command over here. So anything basically you can, this is what the from is going to be. Or was that your question? This is the from. But if I have to download something from here, I have to authenticate to the Red Hat registry.redhat.io. If I just try to download this image, right? Like, for example, if I go in here and I copy this from here and I try to download it, like if I try to do a Docker pull, it will not let me because it's authenticated. See that? Unauthorized. Please log into the Red Hat residential whatever. So I can technically do that because, well, they might have thrown me out from here by now, but let me see. Luckily, they should not. You know what? I don't even remember. No, I don't remember my user ID password, but you know what? It wasn't FIS. It was in Nginx. Yeah, it's still there. So I'm able to do it. So once I'm logged in, I can pull the image. Technically, I should not be using this, deploying it to production because it costs money. If they ever see me deploying it in production, community version, yes, I can use it for test, but for production, I should not be using it. It does not come for free. Red Hat charges some money for it.
Okay. Oh, Red Hat acts as a repository for images. Red Hat acts as a repository for images also.
Yeah. There are a lot of others who have chart repositories for images. Did I answer your question? The original
Yes,
question?
Samir.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's do some more things.
Yes, Samir, one quick question.
Yeah.
If we want to push the image to
Your voice is very, very far. Is that Jyoti?
No, it's Mansa.
Mansa, your voice is very, very far. It looks like your mic is somewhere else in the kitchen and you're in the living area.
Yes, Samir, can you hear me now?
Better. Was your mic really out in the kitchen and you are in the living area?
No. Some problem with my laptop.
I can hear you now.
Yeah.
Loudly.
If we want to push the image to a JFrog repository, do we need to provide the JFrog logins, right? Instead of the Docker login?
Yes, you have to.
The command would be the same. Docker
Command
login.
will be correct. Command will be exactly the same. So for example, I have done a Docker login to, I don't know whether I logged out, right? So let's see if I can see that. So if you go to .docker config.json, hold on, cat docker config.json. So I have only docker.io. Let me log into, yeah, I actually logged out from registry if you look at it. Yeah, let me log in again. You would see that it shows up over here. And now if I do a cat, you see, both are here.
Okay, got it.
So now if I do JFrog also, JFrog will be a new instance there. As long as these entries are there, I'll be able to either pull or push from those repositories.
Okay, yeah, thanks, Samir.
Yeah, let me log out. I don't want to use that. Let me also prune the image, Docker image. Okay, Docker image ls, nothing is there. Good. So coming back to this file, we have looked at push. Is there anything we missed? Tag also we looked at, correct? That's the command. Remove, what is the command? I prefer image ID, but that's there. Docker push. Don't run this command anyway in production. Okay. Well, I mean, if you log into a system in your local and you want to clean it up, that's fine. But otherwise, don't log into a remote system and do that. To list the images. Okay, what else? Inspect, we saw. What we didn't see? History we saw. Can I add this in the?
Yes, please.
Get rid of this guy. In the 16th session, I'll put it there, okay? It's almost empty, that's why. Okay, so we saw image. You should potentially practice with it, but now let's go ahead and see something more interesting. Docker image ls. Let's build the Docker file. Get Docker file. Docker image build. You don't even need image, okay? You can directly say build -d hello world. Okay. So we have the image created, hello world .1.0. Okay. What we will do now is we will create a container. So we'll actually play the music from the CD. The command is docker run and the name of the image, which is hello world 1.0. So it says hello from Docker and elegantly came out of there. Okay. For more examples and ideas, visit over here, get started, share images, automate workflows and more with free Docker ID. We've already done that. And to try something more ambitious, you can run the Ubuntu container with Docker and -it Ubuntu bash. So we will do that, Docker and IT Ubuntu bash. So technically what it will do is it will basically download the Ubuntu image. Okay, so let's do that. We have not downloaded the image we didn't do a Docker pull, but we are directly doing a Docker run. Docker run -it, we'll talk about what it is, the name of the image, and then we want to bash into it or shell into it. So it is downloading that because it is not there locally. And now we got into the bash of, so this bash is different, okay? So technically what we have done here is we have a git bash. In git bash, we have gone into the bash of EC2. And in the bash of EC2, we have a Docker container running. We've gone into that bash. So this is inside the Docker's bash, Ubuntu, okay? I will stop here because this is a little complicated concept for everybody to follow. So you can ask me any questions here. Any question? You understood? Everybody?
Yeah, clear, Samir.
Okay.
Yes, Samir.
Good. Now, let's do one thing. We'll create Docker run. Basically, is a Docker container run command. Okay. Docker container help. So if you see, there should be run somewhere here. Run a command in a new container. Okay. Docker container ls also should be there. List container. So let's see if there are any containers running. Probably not, because we didn't start anything. So none of the containers are running. Okay. What we will try to do is Docker run -d. -d is basically to run it as a daemon. I don't know if run, we can do a help like this. Yeah. So there is a -d detached mode. Okay. If I don't do a detached mode, Docker run and ubuntu, I'll just do this. What happened? There is this Ubuntu basically just starts. Okay. And there's nothing, there's no daemon that is running. For any Docker container to be running forever, there has to be a process that keeps running forever. For example, it will have a JBoss container inside it, which will run forever. If there's no running process inside it, it exists. That's the same thing what happened with our hello world actually. It came here, it executed the Java command, and after the Java command is executed, there was no process running. So it came out of it. There's nothing that it could do over there. Okay. This is a fundamental thing that you need to understand is any Docker container should have something running inside it. So what we will do is we will create an image from Ubuntu and we'll add a sleep just so that we can wait there for some time. Nano Docker file. I'll comment this out. Name can remain from Ubuntu latest. If it fails. Docker build -t Ubuntu 1.0. So it's going to sleep while building. So I don't want that to happen. I want it to sleep when the command is run. So this is not the right place to do it. Let's see what I can do. Let's go to Docker Hub. And let's look for Ubuntu. And I want to look at its Docker file. So command is bash by default. In command, I want to run it as sleep. I don't want bash. So here, if you see, it is creating from scratch. Ubuntu Bionic is the tar.gz file being added, and then it's doing a bash. I wanted. Who all have played with Docker over here? Because if you've not played with Docker, I will have to probably explain about command and. Anybody has done Docker before?
Yes, Samir.
Yes.
Okay, what is the difference between command and what is the next one? Entry point. Can you tell me what's the difference between an entry point and a command?
Yes, Samir.
I think we can, yeah, we can override the command.
CMD,
Yeah.
if you, CMD command, through CMD command, arguments can be overwritten. But with entry point, it is not possible. But it just appends the arguments at the runtime.
I will give you the real meaning of it in a second. What you said is correct, but there's one fundamental thing probably you missed. We'll talk. Let's see if it builds now. So it built. What I'm saying is I want it to sleep for 300 whatever seconds, milliseconds, 30 seconds, milliseconds. Yeah. Docker run. I just want it to be delayed a little bit. Sleep executable file not found. Okay, so this guy, it doesn't have anything inside it. It's a very plain. We will have to install all of the processes in it. So starting container process cost, sleep 3000 executable file not found. In what? Whatever. Let's not worry about this. Let's see something really interesting, which is basically working with the Nginx container to start with, because that will be fun. But with Ubuntu, maybe technically we should be able to put a sleep in Ubuntu. I don't know why it would not allow me to put a sleep. I can definitely add some other process inside it to slow it down or basically ask it to wait. But instead of that, I would rather go to Nginx. Okay. So Docker image ls, Docker image prune all force. We did not prune this, guys. Docker ps minus a. PS is technically same command as Docker container list all. Okay, even the containers that are stopped. So this sleep, right? It actually worked if you really look at it. It basically started and it went. So it is saying it is in created status and it is sleeping for 3000 milliseconds. So what I don't understand is container ls should show it, but it is not showing it. See this one, right? All of the others have exited except for Ubuntu 1.0, which is basically going in a sleep mode, and it is still there. That's fine. We will not worry about it. Let's go ahead and say Docker container stop. So Docker container stop is basically to stop a running container. No such container. Let's give the container ID. Paste. Okay. Now if I say a Docker ps minus a or Docker container list minus a, both are same command. It should technically die. Maybe I messed it up. Docker system prune all is another one wherein before we were doing a Docker image prune, which was just for pruning the image. Docker system prune is to prune containers and the images. So let's see if that works. So it did clean up, and then do a Docker ps minus a to show all the running containers or non-running containers irrespective. So everything is gone. If I do a Docker image ls, images also are gone. So the only important piece for you to know is the Docker system prune instead of Docker image prune prunes the containers and the images together. Okay. So let's go ahead with Nginx for now. On the EC2 instance, I have a Docker running, and inside the Docker, I want to run a container called Nginx. So Docker run -p, and again, I would want you to do Docker run -help like this, okay? And go through this when you are going through. So -p basically is publish all exposed ports to random ports, okay? What that means is if I go to my Nginx over here, hub.docker.com, and if you search for Nginx, Nginx is any server basically. We can even do Tomcat if it has to be. Okay, we'll just do a quick test with Nginx and then we'll fall back to Tomcat. So if you see here, there will be examples down here, which will show you what are the ports. So what it is doing here is it is putting the port of the host as 8080 and the port of Nginx is 80. So it is host port colon container port. Hold on to this thought of yours, what exactly a port is, because I will talk about port in a minute. But first of all, let's go and see something running. That will probably make it a little happy moment for you. So Docker run -p 8080 colon 80 Nginx. So now the container is running. Since it's Nginx, which has a process that runs inside it, you see it didn't end. It is showing inline. What I want to do next is I want to go to my EC2 instance and pick up the public IP of the EC2 instance. Open up a browser and say HTTP colon the public IP. The port that we gave for host is 8080. You see, Nginx is showing up over here. There's one thing for you to run, right? For you to be able to execute this, you'll have to remember the same thing that we did for enabling SSH, right? We went in security, we went to the security group and we added a SSH to our IP address. We had done this, right, to the IP address. Same way, you need to add a HTTP. So all TCP, basically, if I wanted, I could have done custom TCP and then put only 8080. Okay, just for the sake of it, I'll put it as 81 over here, okay, for my IP address. And I will show you something. I will save this. And now I'll go back to that same thing which was working earlier, right? And I'll try to run this. Did I save it or not save it? Oh, I have to delete this, all traffic. Delete it. Just a second. Edit. SSH is fine. TCP is fine. SSH for, I don't need 2 times. Why do I need 2 times? Can remove this. All traffic custom. Oh, from my IP, anything is allowed. We'll remove this also. Postgres, I don't need. I will remove this just for confusion's sake. So I have SSH and I have custom TCP on 8081. That means 8080 should not be allowed. So this one should not work anymore. It should fail. See that? It is just trying to find it. It is not there. So now what I will do is I will stop this over here for a second. Control C. Okay. And when I'm running this again, instead of 80, I will change it to 8081, just so that I show you how that rule works. And since I didn't want it to wait over here, I will put a -D, run it as a daemon process. Okay. So it gave me the container ID. So if I do a Docker container list, it shows me that same thing. If you look at it, A9, whatever, right? 49. So now if I go back over here, yes, 8080 will not work because we have opened it up on 8081. Now it works, right? There's certain thing that you have to remember. First, I started a container telling it that the host port 81 will be mapped to the port 80 of Nginx. And how do I know it is port 80 of Nginx? Because I went to Docker Hub and I looked at it, right? I went to Docker Hub and I looked at what the container port is. It's 80. Okay. Once I added it as 81, I went to my EC2 instance and I looked at the security group for that EC2 instance. So if I go to EC2 instance, I went to security of that EC2 instance and went to that security group, which is the default security group apparently. And I added an inbound rule for 8081. So one of you, right, whoever it is, go here and say, what is my IP? Just search for your IP and tell me what is your IP. One of you, who can tell me? Anybody? Jyoti, where are you?
Yes, Samir.
Can you do a what is my IP and give me IP?
It has given IPv6 address instead of IPv4.
When you say what is my IP, it gives you IPv6.
Can I say, Samir?
Yeah, you can.
2603.
Can you
Colon.
put it in the chat?
Sure.
I can definitely use IPv6 also, but let's use IPv4 for now. You are sending it in the chat here, right?
Yes. I think Mans also sent.
Okay, both are IPv6 actually.
Given IPv4 address.
Okay, who gave IPv4 address?
Jyoti.
Okay, so let me use the IPv4 address here. Cancel. I don't want to remove my rule. I'll add a new rule for you. Okay, able to add more. That's what I'm trying to do. It doesn't allow me to add more than one per rule. Strange. Okay, Jyoti, you should be able to access this website with this URL. Can you try?
Yeah, sure.
You'll be able to see the welcome to Nginx.
System got stuck.
Let's try Saujanya also can.
Yes, Samir.
You're able to access, right?
Yes, I can access it.
Okay, let me give for Mans and Saujanya also.
This is IPv6. Is that okay or V4?
I think should be
IP
fine.
address.
I never tried it with IPv6, but let's try it. So Mansa, you can try it, see whether it works for you.
No, Samir.
Let me see if. Oh
I
wait,
think we
I
should
had
do
added.
V4, I guess.
I had added yours and it just dropped it.
Can
Does
I
it?
provide IPv4?
Yeah, if you have IPv4, provide it.
Yeah, just my pinged in chat.
Saujanya, can you? No, it doesn't allow me to add IPv6. Oh yeah, Saujanya, can you try it?
Yeah, I'm trying.
Mansa, I will try with your IPv6 also. Yeah, Mansa, just refresh and try if it's working for you.
Okay.
Nope, can't reach this page.
You can't reach?
No,
No, Samir.
Okay, so looks like that IPv8.
IP4 maybe.
Yeah, but let me do one thing. Hold on. Before you guys do anything else, I'll open it up for some time for everyone. anywhere IPv4. Hmm. Yeah, try now. Even Rumana can try.
Yes, Samir, it works.
Yes, Samir.
Yeah, Samir, it's working.
Yeah, because now it's open for the whole world. Anyone can access it because of the public IP. Okay. Just to show you that it's really the Docker that is serving the page, right? What I'll do is I will stop the container. Docker container, stop. Try to access it now. Does it work?
Yeah, it's
Yes,
not
we are not
working.
able to access it now.
Yeah, now let me start the server, okay? Try now.
Yes. We can access it now again.
Perfect. The assignment for you today is generate a simple HTML page or download a sample HTML page. I mean, what you can actually do is go to Angular. Anybody works on Angular?
No, Samir.
Okay. Should be command. Get started. Where are you? The command. Here's a sample project, generate ready-made sample project, and save your work. Okay.
I think your screen got stuck.
Yes, Samir.
You're able to see now?
Not able to see.
No,
It's struck.
it got stuck.
On Git bash.
Wait, hold on. Let me stop and start. What about now?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I want the ng command to generate. I'll anyway not be able to show you because I don't have Node installed. I'll have to go install Node. Yeah, I wanted to do something that will allow you to generate something very, very quickly. Ng generate component. Give me a second. I'm trying to get to that page where they have changed everything in live example, download example. So they used to give a command earlier where you could do this, but now they are giving a live example. Interesting. Like this. Okay, my Angular has gone rusty, looks like. They have changed quite a lot from the time I have done Angular. But if you want, I mean, if you want to do Angular, you can, but if you want to do a simple HTML file and then serve it from Nginx, that is your assignment. You should be able to just search for static content. Okay, they have given you a nice example over here. What you will just have to do is you'll have to do a volume mount, but before that, volume mount will be one assignment for you, because we'll have to know how to mount a file which is there in your host into the container. And then when you run the container, you'll be able to access that page. Okay, let me ask you this. Do you think it's a very complex assignment for me to give it to you, or do you think you'll be able to figure out? Very, very simple thing, two things. One is you have to generate a simple HTML file and put it and serve it from Nginx. That example they have given over here. So you can give location, and then they have given images. So if you read through this, it'll tell you, you should be able to put a path. So it is saying root/data. Anything in there, it is being searched, and they're saying what is the index files. Index file is index.html or index.php. So in that /data folder inside the container, you should be able to put index.html file, and that file should be able to serve. That's the idea. Do you think you'll be able to take a whack of it? If not, maybe in the next session we can take a look at it. We'll look at volume mounts, and we'll look at how to basically build something using Maven, put the content into a container, and then run the container and be able to access it from browser. That's what we'll see. But as an assignment, try to read about volume mounts, see whether you're able to copy files from your host into the container, and see whether you're able to access it using your browser in Nginx. So you need Nginx. This one. And I will stop the recording so that you can ask me questions, if at all any. All right.